Hello.
Hey Herb, Joe Boudreaux, how are you?
Okay, Joe, how are you?
Peachy keen. You're
I can
looking
hear
pretty.
you. I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Yeah, I'm in the car.
Oh, okay. How you
You know,
doing?
had to go to the doctors, so they run longer than normal.
Well, of course. How you guys doing?
Good. You look younger by video.
That's a good one.
It's all good.
Right. Well,
I'm just going to listen to this. I'm trying to get my west berm taken care of as soon as we possibly can to stop some of anybody coming through. That's why I'm on this call.
yeah. I hear you having some hassle with people driving across those newly planted pine things that they put up, the Calusa thing.
Yeah, Calusa, yeah.
What a bummer.
Well, we got a surprise for them if they try to do it again.
Oh, what you got in mind?
Well, we'll just let it go at that.
All right. I like that. Sounds like you're planning something kind of cute, like maybe barbed wire right on the ground level.
No, not barbed wire, but if they try it again, they will have to go to a body shop.
Okay. As long as you're not shooting at them.
As long as what?
As long as you're not firing a weapon at them.
No, it hasn't come down to that yet.
Not yet. That might happen.
Hey guys, it's Billy Joe.
Hi, Billy.
Oh my God.
Hi. I'm not quite sure what they were thinking, but I don't know how you guys are going to see the meeting in the boardroom.
Well, we can't see anything on my cell phone. I have a picture of me. Now, I know I look great, but that's besides the point.
Right. Well, I told Scott, who was headed over there now, that I could turn over, of course, control to somebody, but I just need to find out what their thought process was on this.
All right. Well, we could listen. That'll work. I don't have to.
But
see
I'm not
everybody.
in the boardroom. I'm in my office. So
Oh, boy.
hopefully Scott can get in there and pull it up.
Okay.
Yeah, you sent out the invite.
Yeah, I was told create a Zoom meeting. Okay, I did.
Yeah, well, I tried to zoom in on my computer, but it says error or whatever, so I'm on my cell phone. So how's it going in the quarry?
You asked.
All good.
Oh, great. I hear everything looks fantastic. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, you're not here?
Nope, I'm up north,
Where's north?
New York.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's all green. It's looked good. They took the building down a couple days back. Pickleball courts are out, bocce's out, the building's gone. Tina will probably be sending out photos of that to everybody, as like probably on a weekly or 10-day basis.
Okay, I hear the golf project came out pretty good so
The
far.
grill room is really nice. The course is in good shape.
That's what I hear.
They're a little behind on the big room because I think half the staff got COVID.
Oh, God, really?
That's what they say.
Oh,
So,
God.
but yeah,
Well,
it's looking, once the golf is done and the beach club is done, it's going to be unstoppable in this place.
well, that's great because it really looks terrific what they're doing. I got to give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, on both sides.
Yep.
Like,
Very happy.
Just taking out that fireplace made a big difference.
Well, I haven't seen anything because I haven't been there in 5 months.
Yeah.
But I hear from all of my friends, send me pictures telling me it looks great. They love the grill room. They were unhappy with the pro shop being a little small, but
Yeah, it is a
wait.
little tight, but hey, if they're happy with it, so be it.
Yeah, right. That's
I
right.
don't go in there very often.
No, me neither, because I have all the clothing in the world that I need. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, those prices went up too.
Where's the sound?
Ah, here we go. Picture. I see
I knew
somebody.
Scott could do it. I knew Scott could do it.
Well, now I lost it. Nope, got a picture back of somebody.
I don't know how to get the sound up. Do you?
There's usually a sound bar.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Just lost the picture.
Hi, Herb.
Hi there. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Good to
Where are
see
you
you.
now? Where are you now?
I'm in Virginia. I'm in Alexandria.
Oh, cool.
Right there. Click on that.
Hey, Jeff, Joe Boudreau here. How's Virginia?
What's that now?
Joe Boudreau here. You holding down Virginia?
Yeah, Lou.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Brian?
Yeah, sorry, I had it on
Oh,
mute.
you can hear me? I had it
Yep.
on mute too, I guess. I don't know how to see everybody.
I printed.
I got two.
Okay, we can see the meeting.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Nice to see you all. I don't know how to see all of you.
Ah, there's Kathy.
Scott, I don't know if you're gonna need that.
Please.
Printed both of them.
So this must be added on.
Well, this was after my first account,
Okay.
and then this after talking to Scott. The prices were on here, and what they're gonna charge, and
Right.
the process was different. than
Do we have everyone?
kind of-
Where's Renee? Is
Um,
Renee Zoom?
She
I
was,
think we're-
yeah.
Oh,
Do
So
we
I
have
saw-
Peter?
Hey, Peter, are you on?
I just sent him a message just to double check.
Should I call him? Oh, you sent him a phone message?
Yeah, I just texted him.
Can somebody tell me how to see everybody's faces all at once? Oh, there, got it. Okay, I'm a beginner at this. Did
Guess
you
while
hear
we're
that?
waiting a couple more minutes, did everyone receive the emails that I sent? Apologies for so many. It was just due to the file size. I couldn't put them all into one email with the plans, the irrigation, lighting, the
Got it.
betterment, hardscape.
Received them all. Very good, thank you.
Perfect.
Me
Perfect.
too.
Printed them out, but couldn't see them very well once they're.
Some of
Thanks
ours,
for mailing them out.
Magnifying glass. All right, I'm gonna take minutes. I know that Kathy just sent the minutes from the last meeting, which was at the end of the spring. Did everybody get those?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, good. Should we
Hey,
call?
Jeff,
So
on a side note,
So I guess we
hey,
should,
Jeff,
Kathy, you should, ask to have those minutes approved and,
Right, are we ready to start?
yeah, just a side note, Jeff, I had Billy Joe's recording the meeting so that way you can go back in its archive. So if you have any questions, you want to go replay something, or if you missed something with notes or something like that.
that's so wonderful. I can revisit this meeting and live through it twice. That's
Yeah,
good.
just over and over and over and over. In case you have trouble going to sleep, you can just watch this.
That's right. Well, that was Brian's brilliant suggestion. We thought it was great. Well, let's call the meeting to order. And I don't see Renee yet. Should we continue? Scott, do you know? Have you seen her?
I thought she was on her way over. Maybe you could text her and let her know.
Okay,
Someone texting. Thank you. I don't have my phone, so.
I've got it. Is Susan Harrington here?
I'm here in person.
Oh, Susan, it's so good to see you. Everybody, this is Susan, who used to be on the landscaping committee with me 4 years ago, Susan?
Yeah, about 2.5. Not
2.5. Okay. Well, welcome back. We're really glad to see you. I'm texting
Thank
Renee
you.
now.
I am, okay, she'll get two then.
What I might suggest for future Kathy and Brian is that as opposed to having a mixed Zoom in-person meeting, have one or the other.
Okay,
Either have all Zoom or all in person.
okay. Well, let's call the meeting to order. Is any questions on the minutes? Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes from April 13th?
I'll
I
make a
move
motion.
to approve them.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. So under old business, the first thing we have is the mulch program communication that Fred and Scott have worked on. Thank you so much. This is in preparation for the October 11th town hall meeting where it will be reviewed. And we had the discussion at, well, several meetings recently. So Fred and Scott?
Yeah, I'll start. I got kind of involved a little bit late, I guess. I wasn't sure. There were other discussions that took place before I got involved. But
Right.
everybody can correct me now. My understanding is, and I sent out a second letter the other day, that the way the program is going to work is that there's going to be a work request, and Scott, right? Work request put in through the system or by phone. And Down to Earth will respond to each homeowner individually, provide a quote, whether it's a partial refresh or a full refresh, and they will make arrangements to put down the mulch, and it will be billed to the person's credit card or check on file. So Scott is nodding his head.
That's correct.
So I guess we have to look at, one of the questions was how much Down to Earth was going to charge for this. And Scott, did you have any comment?
Yeah, so in business, nothing's ever easy sometimes. So, well, I'd like to get a bag price from Down to Earth. I think, as you might imagine, they price it based on size and scale. If you want to buy one bag of mulch and transport it and have the guys put it out versus 1,000 bags of mulch, there's a price difference. That's why they would like to bid it out per project. I think I have a meeting tomorrow with Chad at 8:30. Well, I'm going to press him to get a delivered bag price. In other words, if he drops it off at your doorstep and you spread it yourself, what's that cost? So hopefully by tomorrow, I'll ask him to get us that. And to Fred, your point, I see 4 options, I think, for homeowners. One, deliver and spread the mulch and do whatever. Number 2 is just have them drop off the mulch in your driveway and you spread it yourself. Number 3 is they do nothing, and then where it gets done in 2022. And number 4 is they go out and buy it themselves, but we have to be very strict that it has to be this color, this type, this size, all of that. So I think those are the 4 options the homeowners would have.
Okay. I don't think it would be that hard for them to come up with a per bag, like I had on the first iteration of this. I had 10 bags, 15 bags, 20 bags. I don't think it's gonna be a lot or a lot less than that.
I hope.
So I can't imagine that they can't come up with a per bag price.
And by the way, I told Chad,
Yeah.
they can start tomorrow. If somebody wants mulch put down,
Right.
all the way till October
Right.
of next year.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be, he may choose to do, hey, every time I get 5 total homeowners, I'll come in on a Friday or Thursday, whatever, and we'll do it. You know, obviously he'll probably batch them. So they have a full day's work. I said, as long as my timeline I gave him was, as long as it wasn't more than 3 weeks waiting. So if
Okay.
you call day 1 and you call 21 days later, that may be grouped together, but it doesn't go any longer than that.
Now, why are we offering the option of him just delivering it and putting it in the driveway?
Because if you want to do 5 bags and spend $50, that's your own deal. I'm willing to do it.
Why wouldn't we just allow the homeowner to go buy their own?
They can. That's the 4th option.
So I would eliminate that option because then he's gonna have a price for, that'll make it more difficult for him to get a bag price. That way he'll have a delivered only price and a delivered and put down price to publish out to the people. If he's gonna come up with it.
Maybe I misunderstood. So you're saying don't allow people to go outside and buy their
Oh,
own?
no, let him. But why do we have to put it in the communication?
Oh, okay, I see. You're gonna give them 3 options.
And I have to give an option of Chad delivering it to them.
Just think that way we're getting the right type of mulch to the people and it makes it easy for them.
And then you might get a cost effective reduction too for everything.
Yeah, it'll just be more difficult. If we do want to come up with a per bag an estimate, it'll be tougher for him to come up with that.
They'll figure that
Is
out.
there any reason we can't just
I mean,
use the price that we get for the community rate for all of these other extra projects that we do, where we're quoted for a 2 cubic foot bag, $5 a bag to install?
It's
Well, Brian, we're gonna wait to see what price they come in with.
Okay.
Yeah, we usually pay $5 for a bag on the projects.
Yeah. So until I have the conversation tomorrow, I don't know.
And can we get clarification on, are they using 2 cubic foot bags versus 3 cubic foot bags?
3 cubic feet.
They use 3.
That's for sure, 100%?
I already confirmed it with them.
Yes.
Oh, okay, because all the estimates we received from them show 2 cubic feet.
Well, they're 3. I know when I've seen the mulch that they put down. It's been
Yeah,
3
no
cubic feet.
argument there. I just want to know because we're just for another bullet point. So, okay, thanks. We're doing 3 cubic feet.
We'll get that clarified tomorrow.
I recently
Yeah.
did.
Is there any requirement that the mulch all be the same color?
Yes.
Yes.
It's gotta be,
Okay,
And I think that's the problem, people start going out and getting it themselves. The brown is not always brown between Home Depot and Lowe's and Big Lots, whatever.
I don't think you can tell the difference.
I mean, it all does kind of fade and blend, but
I buy it from Lowe's, I buy it from Home Depot.
So
It all's the same.
just to progress, you heard online, but the question is, isn't it all the same? Some of it's different. Chad did allude to the fact that there are 3 different sizes of. So that's the one thing we're looking for. And to Fred's point, I don't think you let them know that they can go buy it elsewhere. We just say, here are the 3 options. None, buy from Down to Earth, or Down to Earth installs.
Yeah, don't make that suggestion, and if they go rogue and go buy their mulch, that'll happen very infrequently. I mean, how many times has it happened in the past? We've had problems there.
But I think that's a great suggestion, Fred.
Okay, so looking at this letter, do we have any Scott, are you gonna use something like this or gonna craft your own?
Yeah, I'm gonna use it.
Good, so,
The idea is the committee to me the letter they would like to send out.
good. So let's look at it, let's try to get this through this quickly because it's a big agenda. First paragraph, everyone wants to read that and any changes that we need to be made there.
Will this be the first communication the community is
Okay.
getting that they're not gonna have a mulching in the spring? I mean, in the fall?
I don't know that.
Yes, this will be the first communication.
Yes.
So when they get this, there's gonna be a lot of questions. Well, how come we're not gonna get one when we usually get one? Do you want to address that in some fashion?
If you look in the second paragraph, but I didn't really too much. I didn't want to make too big a deal out of it. In the third line down, I said, doing so, the time frame will be moved to the fall. Doing so will be beneficial to everyone since the mulch applied in the fall will last longer. Parentheses, the summer sun and rain take a harsh toll on the mulch. And we look, and I did put that in there. I embellished that, but I didn't want to make a big deal about it.
Maybe you could move that to the front, move that paragraph to the beginning
Okay,
and say something about, typically in the, January, February timeframe, we install the mulch throughout the community and common areas. With our
Okay.
desire to move it so we get full use of the mulch during the dry season. Something to that effect. Then you. then
Yeah,
at
word
least-
crafting, that's important.
okay,
Especially new people don't even know when it normally would have come.
right.
Then I think the
Yeah.
second or the first paragraph moved down is perfect.
Mhm.
Each year we should request from homeowners to refresh.
Okay,
And I think that lends itself to, hey, here's what we're gonna do. Here are your three options.
so the first comment is going to be, we're making a change to the
Right.
program rather than, okay.
I think having the Y in there is
The long-term
important.
betterment of the community.
Yes. Okay, I'll embellish that a little bit. So let's look at these bullet points.
It's connect work order, right?
I'm sorry?
Just connect. Is that the name of the system?
Yeah, connect.
Yeah, so you work, the actual term for it. is Connect work order process.
Is that on, just on? I've never seen.
Thank you.
Okay, okay. So I'm going to add X in front of work order and bold that.
Yeah.
And then the second bullet, down to earth, will contact you to review your needs. For example, you may choose to refresh the front of your home or perhaps the entire perimeter. We okay with that?
Mhm.
Third bullet point, down to earth, will get back to you with the cost. You can accept the proposal or decide not to move forward at that time. Fourth bullet point, down to earth, will deliver and install the mulch. Well, now I'm going to change that because Scott, you want to have an option just to.
Well, I would leave it,
And/or.
I would leave it the way it is. I think somewhere in here, we should say, as a homeowner, you have three choices.
Okay,
Bullet point the three choices. And then either it's before this or after this paragraph.
I think it also should be clear that it's, the mulch will be a standard color brown and it will be of blank size, because you said there's three sizes.
okay.
I think there's all,
And for those people who don't know how to access the Connect process, do we need to put in parentheses? You can find this at My Quarry Home. Give both directions.
I think that's good. And also they can contact Jeremy in the front office. He could set that up for them.
Okay,
To call Jeremy to inform them how to do it or to place the order.
He can do the Connect work order.
So, or contact, do the connect work order or contact Jeremy.
He'll do it for you. Are you sure you don't want us to go through that?
That's what Chad wants. So that way you can,
Jeremy is Jeremy.
yes, I would say.
Okay,
Two hours.
two hours.
Got mail.
Okay. Fourth
Well,
bullet point, Down to Earth will deliver and install the mulch in a timely manner. And the agreed to cost will be charged to your credit card / checking account.
Or you can say they just send you a bill directly.
It's a-
Yeah.
They-
Yeah, and then you can pay with.
Who's gonna send the bill?
Down Oh, that's the beauty of it. I do want to use the work order system so we can track it.
Okay.
Hey, this is Joe Boudreau. Can I ask a question?
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, guys. Thanks a lot for all your time and stuff, but I have a question on this. What are you gonna tell the homeowners that are gonna want a discount on their quarterlies if they do it themselves?
There
That's
is
gonna
no
come
dis.
up.
Yeah,
So
good
you're-
question. So they're still getting the mulch in the 2022 budget. So there is no discount for that.
I understand, but if, I'm just telling, prepare yourself for the next question. And that's gonna be, I bought it myself, I put it down myself, why am I getting a bill? So.
Sure, great question. How do you think we should answer that?
Well, what I would do is I would put it on the bottom of your paper and say, this is kind of like an amenity. You have to pay it whether you use it or not. But I just think a statement like that would keep you guys out of trouble, something of that nature.
Prevent some questions.
Yeah.
I think if you say you're gonna pay for it or not, I think it's gonna cause a lot of problems.
Well, you don't have to say it that way. Just say, you're gonna have to come up with some type of phrase that explains to them that, they're not gonna run out to Walmart and get the $2 bags and put it down and expect a discount from the HOA. Julie.
Well, I think at the bottom of the letter, this is Susan Harrington. He did say, we're excited and pleased to be providing this optional service. And that kind of implies that this is an add-on, not something to be discounted if you do it yourself.
And in the first paragraph, it says, since this is an optional program, a nominal cost will be established to cover the associated expense. I think.
You will get people who complain no matter what you do, but.
No matter what.
Yeah.
But at least I think that does kind of imply that it's an add-on.
Should we say very clearly, this is a one-time program. In other words, it happens one time in the community's life, hopefully.
Well, maybe not. Maybe they want to continue it. And maybe Down to Earth is agreeable to do it. If it's money for them.
Yeah, I don't know why the landscape contractor wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. So
Right.
maybe it's a nice additional service. If people are having people coming over for a month and their place needs a refresh, work order, Down to Earth, charge, everybody's happier.
I mean, for example, because I had guests coming in, I just wanted to get it done, if someone's coming in, can't say. I guess Chad to me an estimate for everything I want done, which was a mulch front and back, and I knew I was paying for it. So,
Okay.
just be no different.
My biggest issue with this whole process is that we're not gonna have fresher mulch over the summer months, which is when I'm here, when my guests are coming. Going to the pool, for example, the mulch starts to look real washed out and tired. And it's a public space. We should have that nicer, not my house. I can take care of my house, but I can't take care of a public space around the pool and stuff like that. So
Well, we're
that's
still doing common area though, right?
not in the spring.
We might touch up some of the common areas, but certainly not around the beach club with construction.
Especially with construction, there's no point.
So,
I think we have to address that down the line, maybe have a HOA refresh of the community if it comes in the budget.
Well,
Just
that's what we would decide as landscaping.
Okay,
So it could be. Have, you know, a couple where we plant flowers, a couple of points on the runways, things like that.
okay.
Yeah, as we look at different jobs and projects, we approve them based on what we think is best to do and how we spend money, so that would fit under that.
Because the first year of this, we're gonna be going from January, February of 2020 up until late fall of 2022. That's gonna be a year and 3/4 of no mulch. And I think it's gonna.
Yes and no, because this area is gonna be
Mhm.
worked on, so you don't need it in
Mhm.
October, and when it's worked on and it's landscape, that'll be included in the landscape for the project.
Okay.
And then when we're moving over there, that's gonna be under construction.
Mhm.
Now granted, they're gonna be little there, but when that construction is done and landscape that, incorporated in the landscaping would be mulch. So there'll be areas like, say, just in front of the beach club or along the medians on the, main thoroughfares. And that's something we can all look at to say, do we wanna, is it looking really raggedy, do we wanna touch them up?
Got it, I'm comfortable.
I'd just like to comment, Fred, that I love the way you write with such enthusiasm and a positive approach. I think you have a real gift, and I appreciate you doing this for us. And it's a big change, but hopefully, like Scott said before, some people won't even be here because the facilities will be torn up, and down the road, if we have new projects, that'll look fresh. But getting us rolling here, I want to thank you for your work on this.
Oh, no problem, I enjoy it.
Any other comments on that?
I just have one question that I'm not sure you guys can answer, but when we did do residential homes, how many bags are typically used per home? It's usually a pallet, but it varies greatly. Like I have an island in front of my house, a lot of. Okay. Island in the back, we don't have islands in the back. Yeah. It really varies by house. Okay. Cause I mean, I don't know how many bags I would want to order, but I do want to do a refresh.
That's why you enter and connect work order. Chad comes right to your house. He'll give you a proposal and
Okay.
estimate.
Right, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
I just don't want to get to the point where some people, Chad goes out and says it's gonna be $350 for 20 bags of mulch. I think that's not, I hope he's not gonna be doing.
I think it's gonna be a number.
Yeah.
It's gonna be higher than what everybody thinks
Yes.
I don't see why.
because of the labor that he has to haul it out here. They order it, they do all the stuff to install it, things like that.
You have to understand, when it gets done, put down in the community, that it's a separate company
Right.
that have a number of people, and it's like a well-oiled machine. I mean, guys are dropping bags, and there's guys right behind them tearing them open, there's guys right behind them putting the bags, in. So these are gonna be one-off, it's more labor for a job, because it's not orchestrated the same way than if it would have been done during the full month. So it's gonna cost more per house.
Yeah.
And it, as rightfully it should be.
I'm not expecting it to be $10 a bag, for example, if you have 20 bags, $200. I would think he has enough profit in there. You probably cost less than $2 to buy it.
Well, tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, anything else on the mulch?
When this communication, when do we want this to go out?
After the October budget meeting,
Town Hall, October 11th, Town Hall.
or should it go before?
Unless you just want to put a blurb out there that says there's some exciting news from the landscaping committee about
I think it should go out before.
a winter mulch program. Look for it in the next.
Okay, let's put it out, say the last week in September.
Okay,
You can put it out twice. I mean,
I think it's gonna take more than one communication, so if you get it out the first time and then you reinforce it at town hall, and then there could be a reminder.
Right, and by the way, this letter, whether it's this one or something very similar, in my mind, goes out every month until October.
oh,
And I say October of 2022. until we actually do the mulch. So you're doing it once a month. It could be this letter, it could be something, it could be finance committee, it could be from the board, it could be from this committee. All three of those groups have to come out together on this. Otherwise, it looks like something's not in unison, so.
I put a thing in there, October XX, Scott, you have any idea when, so according to you, so there's no date.
It isn't October of 2022
Is the end.
is the date we'll put down the new mulch. Oh, I'm sorry, you're saying they can be,
Request received by, or submitted by,
doesn't matter. They can submit it between anytime, starting
submitted beginning.
immediately. So let's
I'll
say,
be a guinea pig. I'll do it tonight.
well, Chad isn't aware of it, so that's not letter hasn't gone out yet. What I would suggest is that if I was a homeowner and I was thinking ahead, I want my mulch put down the week before Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna spend $200 worth of mulch, just top dress everything for $200. That's what I wanna do. So I get on his schedule, so I know that Thanksgiving week, when everybody's down, my home looks good for the rest of the season. That's what I would do, as opposed to saying, waiting or something like that.
Have we done anything like this before, where homeowners had to pay for something à la carte like this?
Not unless they requested on their own behalf.
And what is are homeowners careful with their budgets, or are they not gonna care?
They're careful.
So it's gonna be, you're gonna get some pushback.
Oh, there's
about
gonna
the
be-
cost.
Remember, the other thing is Chad doesn't necessarily want to do custom homes. Because custom homes have different mulches, different rocks, different stones, different landscapers and things like that. He does not, this is truly for single family homes only, not for condos, not for custom homes. So I think we have to say that as well.
Well, what if one of them did move? Maybe they're not happy with their current landscape.
Well, couldn't Chad say to him, rather than cloudy things up, say to him, I'm sorry, we didn't realize this was a custom home, we don't.
Let me ask him about custom homes and condos, but he was very specific in the original conversation, didn't want to touch it. So we'll see.
I'd ask, just because he might be able to bring on an account. Someone's unhappy.
Okay.
Right, and the condo association might want their whole condo association.
Paul correctly stated,
I think we need to
Okay.
move on.
I'll,
Can we wrap this up?
Yeah, I'll get something out later today.
Okay, thank you. Number 2, Limestone Trail access control. We're talking about, for those of you who aren't down there, the front area that's been worked on. Renee and Scott, would you like to kind of summarize that, where we are with that project?
You're more intimately about it.
Okay. We were able to harvest some boulders, buy some boulders, and to do access control. Joe Boudreau's on the call, helped us place. We're able to recycle some palm trees for the racetrack end. We recycled 4 of them. We were able to plant Calusia hedge to block off. What road is that? The condos? Coastline Court, and close that up. Just so you know, a car drove over the berm on Monday. We now have a game camera installed, and I put a boulder there with our new tractor. So if he tries to go through there, I say he, whoever tries to go through there again will have a rude awakening.
They actually did it twice, did it Monday and Tuesday.
It was Monday. Okay, Monday. I didn't see it
They
Tuesday.
took out another 2 or 3. I think
Well,
they maliciously are trying to.
I hope they do it again, because they're gonna take out the bottom of the car if they do it again. It took everything I had with my little tractor to move that boulder from where we have our rock garden up there. We got that Friday, we got the game camera up on Friday. So we'll see if he does it again, we'll be able to catch him in that spot. But overall, Limestone Trail is on track, ready to go. That's right. We did block off on Coastline. Renee was kind enough to go to Agave. There were 2 spots where golf carts were going through by the circle at the end. Chad put a couple extra Calusa in there in one spot. Renee has an Agave. Chad put a boulder there, so it's all set on there.
Thank you, Renee, for those donations. We really appreciate it.
When are we looking at active dates?
What's that have to do with landscaping?
We're homeowners at this point.
Everybody's asking.
Okay, we're good with number 2.
So as far as opening up the gates to Limestone, right now, hey, Peter, I think you might have your phone or something there. All right, so Limestone.
Goodbye.
Whoops.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so Limestone Trail Gates, right now FPL meter is holding us up. Hopefully this week we have the final meter put in. That'll energize the gates. Then we put the camera systems in, so hopefully sometime the next couple of weeks.
Good.
Quickly opening and closing, or are we gonna have to stop and wait for it to open?
Good question, I don't know.
It's like when you go out come in the front, it moves very quickly. And others are slower.
We like a slow one, those.
Scott, can you clarify something? You said that with this Vandal, you've got cameras up now. And then you just said that in a couple of weeks, you'll have cameras up. What is it?
So one is a game camera, so that I can catch him driving through there. It's a motion sensitive camera. The cameras on Limestone Trail will be license plate readers and things like that, so I can catch people or see people going in and out of those gates.
Got it.
Sure. All right,
Next,
what's
Any more
next?
questions? Number 3 is West Berm Clusia Hedge, Brian and Peter.
I think we lost Peter, unless he's on
Peter.
his wife's device. I think they had 2 at once as the feedback.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Joe wanted to weigh in on this, so.
Okay, Joe?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys again. I kind of made this request back in June to rid the West Berm with the Clusius and stuff, and I believe you guys probably got an estimate at that point in time. I'm kind of disappointed it's not in yet. We're trying to catch the rainy season to get things going, and then I found out just recently that we're trying to put the genie back in the bottle for better prices, and I get that. I just want everybody to understand that, you know, I've been through this many years in this community, and when you hire somebody else to do somebody else's work, the warranty doesn't transfer over, somebody blames somebody else, and the bottom line is the HOA has to pay double for the amount to get it all done. I really need to get that berm going while we still have a little bit of water. So I'm hoping you guys can come up with some type of resolution today to get this thing started, because they're already building at the back gate, as everybody that's here knows that. And the faster we can get those in, the faster that wall of Clusius will be up, which will hopefully secure us a little bit better than we are right now.
Thank you, Joe.
makes sense.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful, because I'm juggling 2 computers here.
Joe, I just wanted to mention to you that I looked back through all of our emails, and unless I'm wrong, we didn't really know a lot about this until July 14th. So I could keep tracking back. It's a moot point now, but we want to move it along as, you know, as quickly as possible.
And that's fine. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Chad was asked to estimate back in June, but you might not have got it till July. But again, that's here nor there at this point.
We'll try to be quick.
Joe, the problem we're having is we have had difficulty in establishing whether or not we were getting competitive pricing. And we're not talking about by $1,000 or $1,500 or something of that nature. We're seeing significant price differences between what has been offered by Down to Earth and what we've been able to go out into the marketplace and secure pricing for either the plant material or a combination of both the plant material and the labor. I want to clarify also that this is about a 2 to 2.5 week job as far as the berm on top of the quarry. So it's not like it's something that's going to take a month to do or 2 months to do. It should be a pretty quick.
Yeah, I talked to Chad last week, and he said he'll have it, as soon as you guys give the approval, he'll have it done in a week.
Okay, he's cut it down even further. So our concern was when we reviewed the pricing, for example, on limestone, which we've already paid for, we found that we were getting significant pricing above. We paid for significantly more than what we found with the new berm at the quarry. And when I think Scott made Chad aware of what the pricing differential was, he came down and matched that pricing. And we're talking thousands of dollars.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that. I walked with Chad about probably around July, end of June or July, and there has to be a lot of dead stuff has to be removed at the same time. And I don't know whether the other estimate you got was included in that removal of the brush, along with some of the stuff that the county requires us to remove as well, which will be taken out at the same time because we have to do it by county rules and regulations anyway. So I get what you're saying. I just want to make sure that you guys are understanding that part as well.
Well, I just want to clarify also on the invasive type plants, the Brazilian pepper and a few others. We were under the impression that that was all removed. I think we paid a substantial amount of money to have that removed. And when we brought in another vendor, this was not mentioned to us by Down to Earth. When we brought in another vendor, they made us aware that there was still some Brazilian pepper and a few other, not significant, but there were some other invasive plants that had to be removed. So, and that wasn't being addressed at all by Down to Earth. They didn't make us aware of it. If we didn't go out and get this alternate bid, we wouldn't have known it was even there. And the bid I got at the time from a local vendor was about $5,200 to remove the existing invasive plants.
Look, Peter, can you clarify that had already been done and paid for, and now this is additional?
This is additional.
Excuse me, Peter. I'm gonna take my mask off so y'all can hear me. We were aware of what was done as far as Brazilian pepper plants. Chad has given us a proposal to put in the West Quarry berm plants. The plants that you're talking about have to be removed by Collier County approved vendor. Okay, and CES did a good job for us. There is additional plants that have grown up. There is not a problem with what we paid last year. So I don't want the committee to think that. Respectfully, sir. Okay, number two, we've gone.
That's a point that I was looking to get clarified because I wasn't sure.
Let me finish, Peter, please. This is to a point now where we've been 45 days back and forth with this bid. I've put forward a bid from Down to Earth. I think it's appropriate. I'd like the committee to vote on it so we can move forward with this. I don't think we need this back and forth. And when you're down here, I'm happy to walk through all of these invasives that we have throughout the community, but we need to move forward on this respectfully.
Well, before we move forward on it, I think what's important to establish is we threw out the fact that when looking at the pricing of what we paid for already with limestone, we ended up paying we paid like $40 a plant. And
hey,
then
Peter.
We paid.
Peter.
No, I want to finish this.
We've already.
We paid $40 a plant, and then we paid for enhanced labor. Our concern right now is we appear to have paid at least an additional $6,000 or $7,000 above what the pricing that was given to us by Down to Earth for their revised pricing. Their original pricing came in significantly above, and Brian and myself went out and we found that we could buy this same service for significantly less money.
Please,
Ask
Ms.
it.
Harrington.
We're trying to do, find out
Excuse me.
whether or not we can secure a credit from
Peter.
that earth.
Peter,
for
you've made
this
a point.
situation.
Peter, you made a point. This is Susan Harrington. Can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
New, and I just wanted to get it clarified. When you were getting your bids, I saw that one of them said that the quarry needed to flag all the irrigation. So
Yeah.
did you include that in the cost of the bid? Because we'd have to have Down to Earth do that, and we'd have to pay them to flag all the irrigation. So did you include that in your estimates?
First of all, there's not, in speaking to a couple of different experts on this, there doesn't appear to be a significant amount of irrigation that has to be added to this.
Well, it's not
The area,
adding.
excuse me,
Flag,
the area
finish.
already has irrigation.
it's not adding, it's flagging so that when it's damaged, they damaged it, responsible for replacing. The second thing is I did not see in the proposal that they would repair anything they damaged. And the third thing is, did you get any references for these people that you got quotes from? Because one of them, when I was on the landscape committee, we had them do a small project and they did not come through with their warranty. So did you get references for these guys?
I actually got a referral from a very significant landscape contractor.
Yes.
And I want to point out that when we asked Chad, just to clarify what amount of money we're talking about here, when I brought up the whole irrigation situation and we got the revised bill from Down to Earth, Chad has a total of $360 to modify the existing.
I'm not talking about modification, I'm talking about repairing damage. I didn't see anywhere where they guaranteed that they would repair any damage.
Typically, that is something that is normally done by any contractor. If they damage it, they repair it.
No, that's not true. That's not a true statement.
Hey, we're really beating a dead horse and my time is valuable like everybody else on the committee. We need to either move forward and get the project done, or I'm gonna leave, because I don't want to hear this back and forth all the time.
Well, the only thing that's on the table now is whether or not we are going to secure a credit from Down to Earth.
No, that's not on the table. No, there's no table yet.
Okay, well, before I vote for it, and I think there are other committee members, before we vote to award this contract to Down to Earth for the quarry berm, we want to know, it appears as if we have significantly overpaid for the limestone work. And we want to make sure that if we're not going to get what we consider to be a reasonable credit, my recommendation is that we award this to someone else, such as Club Care, who is in the right vicinity price-wise.
Can I ask for a clarification? How much are we talking about here? What is one person's vote quote versus another person's quote?
Did you see them?
I have them. I just
Well, we're talking $30,000 for 680 bushes, or we're talking $25,000 for 429. So the chances are it's not going to exceed 680, but it could very well go over 429. So you're talking about a $5,000 difference. The plant material is actually lower on the higher bid. And if this 429 ends up being 680, we've got a big surprise ahead of us.
Right.
A huge surprise ahead.
Can I interject? Can I interject here? The reason that we are going through this is that over a long period of time, we've felt that there wasn't always competitive pricing. And we're looking at this as a huge project, and we just wanted to ensure that we are getting competitive pricing and fair pricing. and doing the analysis. That's why, Betsy, to your question, why are we going over this? Because everybody on the committee needs to understand how much we've done in terms of looking at cost comparisons and fair pricing. And going forward with our big projects, that would make a difference because we've got the settlement funds. So it's sending a message to DTE that we will be checking prices, which Scott has done a great job.
I think,
What?
but the two quotes here, one is for 680 trees or shrubs, and one is for only 429. So it's a huge difference in the quantity, so it's not even comparing apples to apples.
Well, not
What are
only
you
that,
looking at?
you're not including like the irrigation issues, the repair issues for damage will be done because it's up on a burn. And references.
You also have to remember dirt and fertilizer.
Well,
That brings up a good point. We're just
Actually, it's very drought tolerant, the hedges, and it's low maintenance. It tolerates most soils. That's the reason that you're wanting to put it in there, that it's a good choice for that area.
not talking about adding irrigation. I'm talking about what they will break because things do get broken.
Can we just bring it to a floor for a vote? Is everybody agreeable to that?
Brian, did you have something else to add?
It's just to reiterate, Peter's concerns. I mean, it should be noted as well that this revised bid from Down to Earth, this was not their original estimate. The original estimate, they wanted to charge $40 per 7-gallon plant installed. And then it wasn't until we went out to solicit these other two bids that literally with a flick of a pen, Chad basically matched or underbid the previous bidder by dropping the plant price to $32 a plant. We derived that figure by me contacting a wholesale nursery over in Miami to find out what their price per plant was. For a 7-gallon plant wholesale was $16. So typically the going rate is to mark up the plant 100% to account for profit margins for the planter, the replacement warranty, and so forth. So that's where they derive this $32 per plant figure on the revised estimate under 30,000.
I beg to differ a bit with you, Brian, in that going price is what they quoted when Scott went to them and said, okay, we're getting additional bids. We need you to come back with your best price. Before they even knew what the other quotes were, they came back with a 30. And because Chad only has so much leeway in pricing, he had to go above to get special pricing. So it wasn't within his power to give us anything other than what he initially gave us, and to which point we pushed him, but he had no knowledge of the other pricing.
Well, I think this is to be learned
Okay,
here.
well, to continue on that, I think the frustration from a lot of us on the committee is that why did we have to go back and forth to get them to come back with a more competitive price? That should have been offered from the get-go, considering they're the preferred vendor for the quarry. I think the concern with myself, and I don't want to speak for others, is just the transparency with the pricing. I feel like we're charged for a lot of things that we just don't receive.
Hey, Brian, if I can address a couple of things. So I started here in January, and in prior to that, I know the committee has been run for some other people. As far as price increases, while the Down to Earth contract has been here at the quarry, I believe their plant prices haven't increased at all over the number of years, correct? Over 3 years, correct?
I don't know that answer to that.
We didn't have access to that information.
I believe
You're correct. You're correct.
But it hasn't increased over 3 years. So as far as bidding out, the quarry's been accepting of this pricing for the last number of years. So we're bidding this out now. We're realizing there's some savings to be had. We're taking advantage of it on this project. And with the RFP that we have coming at the end of this year, we're going to designate what the plant prices will be based on bidding. So this will not be a concern going forward once we award the contract starting July 1st of next year. So I would suggest the committee say, hey, look, we got great pricing on this project. We'll continue to bid as we've done now on larger projects, say over $2,000. We'll get multiple bids from now until July of next year. And then this becomes a non-issue because we bid this out and we'll have them lock in the price for the 3 years of the contract.
Well, I just like to interject, our next topic coming up, Scott, was about pricing, and that was the whole point of doing all this is doing more to ensure we have fair pricing. And I'd like to say, complimenting you, there are a number of times when you have tried to get the pricing down and have been successful. But it's really important to all of us that we continue on that way. We didn't have that before you and Renee were so involved. We didn't have those questions. So we're trying to go forward, especially when we have these big expenses coming up. We're trying to go forward, making sure we have competitive pricing.
Sure. So I'd ask the chairman to consider down to earth proposal and see if we can get a vote, and let's move on to the next topic if the vote is positive.
And just one more thing. So the money is what? How much are we talking about? $30,000?
30,360.
And they came back from 40,000, 38,000. I think it's a lesson learned for our committee, and it's a lesson learned for the community that we have to be more diligent when we bid things out like that. And so I think we know it's a known quantity with Down to Earth. They're giving us, seems to be a fair price, and we learned a lesson. So let's put it to a vote and move on.
How do we know this is a fair price? We didn't determine this was.
Research. We did enough.
Found out that this was an unfair price once Brian went out and I went out and we checked with competitive bidders, and actually Scott went out and he got a very competitive price.
You got mail.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the Down to Earth proposal.
I'll second it. Let's have a vote. Let's go.
Okay, all in favor, if you could raise your hands or say aye,
You
please.
guys need to take a vote.
Yeah, we need to, because we're.
We need to take a count of each
So we're
person.
Yes.
So
I'm sorry, Peter, could you say that again?
Yeah, we need a vote of each person, not, can't tell by hands. I'm against it.
Okay, so Peter, why don't you start?
I'm against giving the contract to Down to Earth if in fact we do not negotiate a reduced price on what we've already paid for on Limestone Trail, because it was substantially over.
Yes.
No.
Just yes or no, all we need.
No.
Kathy? Kathy?
Who's asking?
Your vote.
Oh, I don't know. I'm torn. Can I abstain?
Yeah.
no,
No.
as a chairman, she cannot.
No.
Can we come back to you in a minute when everybody else votes?
Thanks, Susan. That's a good idea.
Who else is on the line? Brian?
Brian?
No.
This
Okay.
is Jeff. I vote no. I don't want to reward them when they were forced into becoming fair. It should have been that way from the start.
Okay.
Betsy is yes.
Fred is yes.
Susan, yes.
I think we have one other person on the line.
Herb Kramer,
Herb,
no,
Herb, no?
no,
Okay,
Ralph,
Only get one.
I would say yes.
Who was that said yes?
Ralph said yes.
Ralph Frank.
all right.
Is there another lady on the phone?
Allison?
Allison?
I would vote yes.
Okay.
oh, I'm really torn. If
Okay.
we,
I mean, the flip side is we start this all over again.
Yeah, that's it. It's
No.
gonna take forever.
No, it's not, that's not the flip side. The flip side is to try and get Down to Earth to give us some kind of revised pricing on limestone. If they do, then we can move forward with them if it's acceptable. If it's not acceptable, we could go with Cover Care,
Kathy.
Club Care.
So I'm the tiebreaker.
Kathy, it's the vote. No, you're not.
No, you're not. You're the time maker, but not the tiebreaker.
Oh. Well, I'm really torn.
Come on, we gotta go. Jeez.
Yeah.
We're gonna get through all this.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes this time, even though I was really wanting to get this competitive pricing, that we go forward in the future. And Scott, you're saying we will continue to get bids on these big projects?
Yep, as I mentioned, anything over $2,000, we'll get bids.
I think we're giving back to Earth a warning, and they've taken it, and now we move forward. What's that?
Wasn't the stipulation on this pricing, Scott, that they would be awarded all three contracts, Limestone, West Berm, and Ironstone?
Well, Limestone's done. So yeah, it would be Ironstone and West Quarry Berm,
Those two.
those two.
And what's the
And
vote now?
was there price matching for Ironstone now to basically revise for the 15-gallon plants?
Yes, they did come down on that one. Correct?
There you go.
Yes, they did.
Yep.
All right, so we have a vote, and the tally is,
6 yes, 4 no.
Okay.
okay, passes.
So I'll proceed with Quarry Drive and Ironstone when I meet with Chad tomorrow.
Bring the sun.
Thank you.
Scott, let him know this was a difficult
Yeah.
decision, so he knows the feeder and the fire.
Understood.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
And
Hey, the
thank you
access
to
control
Peter.
meeting,
and-
access control, thanks
Can
you
I,
guys.
can I
Really
just
appreciate
ask
it.
a quick question, Scott?
Hey.
Everything we talk about goes to Chad, and yet when it comes to some of the pricing, you said that Chad has to go to somebody above him. Can we communicate with people above him?
I do on a weekly basis. I communicate to Chad's general manager. And then above him is Tom Trombley, who's the regional director for Down to Earth. Just this
Okay,
morning,
Good to know. I never hear about anybody other than Chad.
Yeah.
Thanks,
they-
guys.
They both met with Cheryl and I as well.
Bye, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the rubber is gonna meet the road in next July when we bid it out.
Okay, moving on. Number 4, it's 3:00 and some of us have to go on to a meeting about the architectural drawings, but number 4 was on project pricing and bids. And again, we've made this point. We've done a lot of research. Thank you to Peter and Brian for delving into this. Scott, did you want to add anything else about, I know you had $2,000 worth of savings on the Metro pumps, and you've worked with Chad to get his prices different. Did you want to add anything else?
With the tree transplanting, you did a great job with that.
Yeah, I mean, we did tree transplanting and things like that where we saved a significant amount by transplanting the 40 trees. You know, again, Club Care, who is an alternate bidder that we just spoke about, again, is very interested in bidding our entire beach club project. So they'll bid that as well as some other folks. I was surprised to see that, you know, a bidder that was recommended by a committee member came in so high. It was almost double what Down to Earth and Club Care has. So with regards to like the West Quarry berm and things like that. So it's, you know, I think we're gonna continue to get better pricing as long as we're aggressive in how we bid it out.
Yeah, thanks to Scott, we saved a tremendous amount of money on those 41 trees that we transplanted. DTE was given an opportunity to bid that. They did bid it, and they couldn't even come close. So
Good.
our decision was not to go with DTE, so they know they lost that contract. So this is not a one-sided DTE committee. We're gonna go where it makes sense.
Good.
All right, what's next?
Okay, Scott, anything more on the RFP that, this is the document that all of you got that, Tom Black had prepared for us at the last meeting. Anything we need to talk about today on that?
Just to give you an update, one of the things we're working towards is a map of the quarry that goes along with the RFP. So when we hand it to the bidders, they will have a map that says, here are the flower beds. Well, first of all, here are the single family homes, here are the custom homes, here are the common areas, and here are the HOAs. And that way we're able to tell them specifically on a GIS map, here's what you have to take care of and here's what you don't. So that's being mapped out as we speak. Last week, they mapped out flower beds. Next week, they'll do grass areas. And then beyond that, they'll start looking at mulch beds and things like that. So all that will be on a document that we can hand to people. It's important for us to have that. It's costing us a little bit of money, not a lot. And along with our sprinklers that they did last year, all of that will go into the RFP and make it easier. So what we're trying to do is take everything that's in Chad's head and put it on paper going forward so that we're in control of that information moving forward.
Will that also include the things that are in work for the renovation? So because the costs will be different.
Exactly. The renovation, the Beach Club campus is excluded from that currently. When it's completed, we'll have as-built drawings and we'll be able to hand those to the contractors. And that's something that's important with the RFP. Our RFP is going to be starting July 1st. It will exclude the Beach Club campus because it doesn't make sense for us to have that new contractor bid on a campus that's right in the middle of construction. There may be some off ends or odds and ends things they'll do to help us. But in general, that Beach Club won't pick up until probably November or December. So we'll award the common areas and single family homes for July 1st. The Beach Club will be a secondary award. The other thing we're looking at doing, excuse me, to get us back on track from a fiscal standpoint, because right now it doesn't make sense that our contracts expire mid-year. So when we're doing budgets, we don't know what's happening mid-year, because literally we're a year out from where we need to decide what has to happen. So we're going to I'm going to push to make the first year an 18-month contract, then bring the Beach Club into a lesser, probably a 13-month contract. And then we'll have 2 more years after that. So this original contract will be 3 plus 6 months versus a true 3-year contract. So just a heads up on that, we'll have it expired January 1st of 2026, sorry.
You know, I know this isn't specific to the agenda, but I think it's worth mentioning your negotiation with Down to Earth currently because things are under construction and credits.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, yeah.
So what we did is Renee, myself, Jerry Solomon, the treasurer. I went back to Tom Trombley, Mike Berg, I think it is, the general manager, and Chad said, hey, look, you're not maintaining half of the Beach Club for the first 6 months of the contract. You're not maintaining the Beach Club for the next 6 months of the contract. So we want a half credit. So starting this month, and starting halfway through August, they gave us half credit in August, and then they're going to give us, 25% credit in August, 50% credit in September, moving forward till July. So where we normally pay $11,000 for the Beach Club,
I think it was
13. So it's literally cut in half. So.
It's just important that everybody's aware of that.
Yeah. And by the way, those funds that we're going to be saving, I would suggest you earmark and put those towards your front sign. So that way you'll have, you divide that by 5-6 months of savings. You'll be able to put that all towards your front sign. And you won't have to ask anyone else for more money to redo your front sign. Our front sign.
When you go out for bid, are you just going to blanket everybody or have specific
for
contractors that you'll?
So for the main RFP,
yeah,
we've had a number of contractors contact us.
Really?
We've had a number of committee members recommend people.
Okay.
And certainly if anyone knows of any contractors, what we're going to do, Tom will sort of pre-qualify. Okay. There's going to be, Joe's landscaping company down the road that may try to bid.
Right.
And there's gonna be certain fiduciary requirements in order for them to pre-qualify to bid.
Good.
So we don't wanna waste.
And will they do the references and all that for us?
They will.
Okay, good.
And I know you're new to the committee, but Tom's background is he was the superintendent at Gray Oaks,
Okay,
as well as he worked for the PGA for a long time,
okay,
doing their tournaments and things like that. So he has a pretty good understanding and knowledge of what we
Great.
need to do.
great. Yeah, last time around, this sounds a little bit different. The big contractors all chose not to bid.
Yeah,
And at least one of them said it was out of deference, to their friends who were at the time Centron.
mhm.
So, it's kind of a small town feel.
It is.
And so to have a lot of contractors come up and request a bid is good because we had a tough time.
Yeah, so I think what's happening, and this is only me speculating, I don't know what happened last time. I know now in the landscaping business, in particular, the last couple of years, 24 months, is that they've become national, they've been bought out by national
Right,
companies.
right.
So now it's all about the regional getting in touch with the general manager, says, hey, this is in your region, why don't we have that? They don't know Jose Cintron, they don't know sort of the smaller
Ah,
companies.
Okay,
So I
good,
think we're getting some of the bigger companies.
good,
The one that is, kind of literally right outside our back gate, which is Blue,
yes.
I still have not been able to get a hold of them to have them.
They were one of the ones that specifically said they would no bid
Right.
because of that.
So I reached out to them a couple times, to their salespeople. They do work with Rodney and Bob across the street. No answer, and that's really strange. So,
Wow.
And I think it speaks to what you're indicating.
yeah, so we'll see.
How long have we been using Down to Earth?
I think it's going on 6.5 years.
Well,
No, that's true.
it was Citron,
Yeah.
it was different companies that
They
kind
got
of
bought out.
acquired or bought out or. so.
And is it a 3-year contract? What we're looking for?
Typically 3.
And so we're on their, we've had 2 contracts with them and we're gonna be moving.
Well, we've completed 3. We extended for a year because of the construction and me being new. And so we're into the 4th year of a 3-year contract. Because they said, hey, look, we'll just raise 3% and go from there, which we were happy with in the current economy. So we're happy with that.
So it was 3 and now a year extension.
Yeah.
I think it's great that they had these, that you guys put some work in getting new bids for different things. I think Down to Earth is gonna really have to sharpen their pencil with this next bid.
Yeah.
And they know it.
Well,
It's good that they know it.
What I'm looking forward to is what Brian and Kathy alluded to is Tom is putting together a list of plants. Hey, look, for a coconut palm or I don't know, you pick a palm that we do normally. Here's what it is for a 12-foot, this install is gonna be this. But what I'm trying to do is get those companies to lock it in for 3 years. So I don't have to worry. I know if I put a new tree in your front yard, I don't have to check the price. I know that it's gonna be what the contract said. And then obviously my controller will go back and say, hey, the contract said it was supposed to be $50 and they charge us $62. All right, I'm gonna call them on it. But it isn't I have to go back and get 3 bids because I just did that with these multiple bidders that we have.
Sounds good.
I think that's going to be a big help going forward with our concerns about fair pricing. And that'll eliminate a lot of what we've had to just go through. But since it's always been different for them, now we're changing the game. We'll see how that goes. If we see improvement, because so far, like you said, we are.
I think the other thing that's unique about this RFP is that we're starting to control the data or the knowledge
Right.
of the. Where I don't know that we've had that in the past.
The intellectual.
Like the irrigation charts, we're gonna have, hey, here's exactly what you're maintaining. And that'll be good for us to have that data.
And they know that Renee and Scott, they know that you're really on top of that. And with the weekly meetings with Chad, I wanted to mention that. He's so in touch with both of you that these subjects come up often, and building that relationship, I think, has made a difference. Is there anything else on the RFP that anyone wanted to say? Anything, Renee?
I'm gonna, and because of the timing here,
Yeah,
we'll save them to another meeting.
okay. Brian, we okay to go on to 6?
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to mention is if we discussed generating a list of vendors, and Scott added additional stipulations on there in terms of their financial background and recommendations and so forth. But would it be advantageous to pick some of those and pre-screen them by using them to do some of these smaller projects leading up to the RFP? So that way we could also minimize that list based on the performance and the quality of work that we received from these smaller projects.
I don't know that would have value, Brian. I think we'd have to do it on a case by case basis. I would be inclined not to judge a company on a $2,000 project that has a $3 million bid or $2.5 million bid.
Any other comments? Anyone? Okay, number 6 was daily maintenance and contract compliance. Every week, Scott meets with Chad and he's invited Brian and I as the co-chairs to those meetings. In the past, the committee's had some ride-arounds, which will continue this fall. A lot of things have been cleared up in there, like the Connect work order process. That's been cleaned up. And then we follow up with the projects that have been completed and how that's gone and if there are any issues. And we have some concerns about how do we check, and going forward in the RFP, this might be an issue. We have some concerns about how do we check if the amount of soil is delivered, if the hole is dug deep enough, just overseeing those projects. So that's an opportunity to talk about those issues that come up. Brian, anything else on that?
Yeah, I would like to know the committee's thoughts on that specifically. This is the largest contract that we have within the community, but it's essentially on cruise control with the exception of Scott overseeing the approvals and coordinating with Chad, and then us just approving bids, and then it's up to somebody else to go back. But is it in our interest for the community to retain, let's say, a lead landscaper type position? If a Chad internally, if you will, to assist us with these type of issues, contract compliance, making sure nobody's overseeing these projects. And I'm not expecting Scott to be out there watching them plant a tree, but
Yeah.
if we had an internal employee that's has a vested interest in this community, like the homeowners, I think the quality of work would be much better, as well as
I
pricing and
think
so
that's
forth.
a good idea, especially when I found out or heard about the removal of the pepper plants that weren't done. Someone has to be, able to oversee compliance with the contracts being actually fulfilled.
Well, hold on a second. What removal of pepper plants are you speaking of? And number 2, you already have someone on staff that can oversee the RFP once you sign it for next July.
Who is that person?
Well, that would be Tom Block, your consultant, who you're going to keep on after the contract is awarded. He's going to be the one that checks and confirms everything that you've just put into this RFP is now being carried out.
Well,
That's good to know.
Well, to expand upon the RFP, I'm talking like these special projects and things like that of that nature. Who's responsible for that?
Right now, it's me. If you want to hire someone, I'd suggest you expand his contract. He'd be happy to come out and check every tree that you put in the ground, things like that. He's going to be your most knowledgeable person about this property.
That's kind of what I was leading to. Is that would that be the person that we would be going for as a liaison to the community, or would that have to be somebody employed by First Service that works for or within the community?
I don't think you want to hire another employee and take on health benefits and things like that. Why don't you just-
Okay.
Isn't it our job to make sure that these things are doing?
You certainly can do it as a committee as well. I'll leave it up to you guys. I just think that's committee overreach. I think if it's not being done by the contractor, then I think you should hire someone like Tom to do it.
So you're saying, Scott, then that Tom would would check on those projects.
He certainly would if you want to pay him to do it. Why don't you pay him on an hourly basis? He'll come around once a week, check on him. Twice a week, 5 days a week.
What are you saying we're going to have with him continuing? You said something about he'll continue on a regular basis after the RFP is completed.
Correct. And that would be my plan, is to have him as our consultant moving forward through the RFP.
And what would he be doing as the consultant?
He would be confirming that things are in that RFP, not special projects, but things in that RFP are being completed as planned.
And we don't have
That's
anything like
pretty
that in
much
place
what
now.
Brian's suggesting, aren't you, Brian?
That's my point,
And
is
we-
that
We have that. We have that.
Yeah, I mean, not to revisit skeletons in the closet or anything, but I mean, just going back to one of the estimates that Peter and I reviewed, which was the limestone trail privacy hedge, we were charged for 40 yards of soil. Does anybody have any idea how much dirt that is?
I do.
I don't recall seeing 3 dump trucks worth of soil there.
So it'd be 2.
A typical 10-wheel dump truck is 10 to 15 yards, cubic yards of material. So we're talking about 40 yards of dirt just for that one project. And then we go towards the other project on weathered stone with the poinciana trees. I mean, I monitored that project and I saw 0 dirt being installed. And we were also charged for, let's see, 40 bags of mulch, and there's still 0 mulch applied. And the diameter that they left is actually mulch would equate to about 4 bags of mulch.
Do we have it in our budget this year to hire Tom to,
Look, Tom's in your budget already through this year and next year.
but that's just for the RFP, but for
So once-
additional projects?
Once you award the RFP, then you could say, hey, look, after that, we can keep him on, which I would suggest as your consultant to do this type of work.
And we get a price on this Quarry Quarry Drive project from Tom to, and give us a schedule of what he would be willing to do for what price?
I had not thought about that.
Well, I thought that's what we were just discussing.
I thought we were talking about future projects.
Well, this is a future project. It's not in the ground yet.
You are correct, Peter. If the committee would like to give me direction on that, I will certainly go out and get that price. And would you like me to get 3 bids on that or not?
For oversee?
Yes.
Well, I'd be personally very content to have, I would make a motion that we secure a quotation from Tom. I think we've been comfortable with what he's done, and let's see what he comes back with. And we'll be able to judge once the project is complete if we're thoroughly satisfied.
I would second that.
All right, and I'd be happy to do that. What happens if Tom comes back and says, yep, it was installed according to plan?
That's great. That's what we're paying them for.
Okay. I'll get a price.
It's 3:20. Should we adjourn now so that we can go over the architectural drawings, whoever's staying, and put the rest of this agenda into next week?
I think that's a great idea. Kathy, I think that's a great idea.
Next week.
Oh, well, they're meeting weekly.
Oh.
Kathy, did you send a schedule to Scott?
Yes,
We're meeting next week.
yes, we set those, when you asked for us to set the times, it was Mondays at 2 o'clock weekly.
All right. And it'll be a Zoom call
I can
going
resend that.
forward.
Pardon?
It'll be a Zoom call going forward as opposed to in person and Zoom.
Kathy, I would resend that because I don't think people here receive that as well.
I will resend it.
Good. Oh, here we are. It's in the bottom.
Oh, is it there?
It's in the agenda.
Oh, it's in the end, okay.
All right, so 2 o'clock on Monday.
And then that will start with, do we want to revisit this number 6 here, or go on with number 7, the other projects?
Well, you'll have to do a new agenda each week you meet.
Okay. Is that okay with the committee? How do you, all of you feel about that?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Yeah, it's you and Brian decide.
Okay. Okay, so is there a motion to adjourn this landscaping committee meeting so that we can go on to the architectural drawings, whoever's staying for that?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned for now, and we'll move on to, this is not an official meeting with minutes. We'll move on to the comments about the architectural drawings.
Can we take a 10-minute break?
Oh,
I'm sorry, Kathy,
good
the
idea.
meeting we just had is official. I should have the minutes for that, correct?
Correct.
You're talking about what we're talking about next. The drawings is unofficial.
It's a workshop.
Okay, got it. Hey,
Thank you, Jeff.
I can stop taking notes. Thank you.
Thank you. So 10-minute break,
Kathy, I'm not going to be at the next meeting.
pardon me,
I can't make this next meeting.
on the drawings.
Yes.
Okay, did you have any comments about them that,
I actually don't. I go along with what the committee is considering. I find it difficult. If I were down there, might be a little easier, but not.
it's really difficult. But, we'll be able to look at phase 2 and 3 when you're down here with the big drawings. We'll be able to have some, input that will be valuable then. But it is really difficult getting the small drawings.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work, Peter.
Nice chatting with you all. Bye.
Mhm.
I have to leave in about 35 minutes, so one of the rest of you will have to do the Zoom call. Use your phone at 4.
I'm gonna have to leave at 4 also.
Kath?
Scott,
Yeah, so
Scott, will you clarify for us what you want us to do for Richard for today?
yeah, I'd like you to give us your feedback in bullet points, written down, sent to me so I can forward to Richard, what you guys would like to see on the plans.
And how do you, well, wait, go ahead and take your 10-minute break and
Well, Kathy, someone will take note or something about, but I have to leave at 4 o'clock.
okay,
So,
Kathy,
yes.
could I have a set of plans sent to me? I still don't have them.
Scott, did those go out?
they did go out. Did you receive yours, Kathy?
No.
Yeah, they must not have gotten there. That's the problem with that darn post office.
Well, I just blew mine up with my iPad, and Ralph has offered to do some things for future Zoom calls with pictures and a PowerPoint. I just kind of thought, well, maybe I can hold it up to the camera and mention what I was looking at.
Yeah.
It's hard to do long distance, but it's good to have the input.
Exactly what I sent to them.
Is Susan still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Susan, did you get this request for proposal? We went over it before you were on the committee, but I can send it to you if you didn't get it.
No, I did not get it. Yeah,
Okay, I'll send that today.
thanks.
Now, we're kind of gonna break it. What does Tom do? He's gonna be a consultant that's gonna oversee work gets done on this big project. And then perhaps moving forward.
Well, when you say big project,
The total renovation.
no. So Tom's not involved in the renovation at all. Tom is our gentleman I brought in, who is helping us write the RFP and make sure that's a single purpose.
That's gonna be a big plus.
Okay.
So that's a single purpose. what I would suggest happens, or what I had envisioned is, once we award the bid somewhere in March or April next year, you would continue on to make sure that that RFP, one, their transition, if there is one from D to E to whatever happens July 1st, he's helping us with that. And that's number one. Number two is from July 1st moving forward, he's out here probably once every week or every 2 weeks, driving around saying, that's good, here's a checklist that he'll develop, and he's checking these things. What I think the committee on the phone was asking for is every time we put a tree in the ground, somebody goes out there with a measuring stick, did you?
Well, I kind of got the impression they wanted somebody to, maybe I misunderstood, drive around and check and make sure same normal maintenance things were getting done as well.
So
But they wanted it now.
Yeah, and if they want that now, we can certainly have Tom do that. I just don't know that that's
Necessary.
I don't know that it's in your budgets to do that.
That's my
Is he
concern.
part-time or full-time? What is his position now?
Tom is very part-time. He literally is on property probably 3 times a month.
Okay.
Only just to learn the property.
You know, it's funny, when Brian was bringing up limestone, I didn't see any dirt going in there. I didn't see them bringing any dirt in.
They did. So they had.
It's good that somebody gets once and for all, like now we've got the pricing more under control, and I think that'll be, make everybody more comfortable moving forward. And also, if they do some audits of the work that was done, and they say, yeah, they did bring in, 40 yards of mulch, or whatever they said that they're gonna do, then you get a comfort level there.
Yeah.
I think right now there's a level of distrust rather than a level of trust.
So I can only tell you, I know that they brought in dirt or soil because I had to blow the road off in the 3 spots where they dumped. So I can only assume that was 3 dump truck loads.
Makes sense.
But
You're talking about the tree planting?
no, the mulch
The
or the Calusa.
Well, even
Limestone.
the tree plantings, we had to pull out rows of bushes and other trees. You needed a substantial amount of soil to fill all those holes so that you could, because what we did is we just put down earth.
Well, there's no soil here.
Right.
It's
So-
all limestone.
Taking that stuff out.
Yeah.
You got enormous
We have
holes.
driveway gravel.
How many
Yeah.
Lucy's that they put in there on stuff?
I think it was 196. I'd have to look back at the code.
That's what I
On where, Fred?
on limestone, it was 200 plants. They did that quite quickly. It didn't look like they had trouble getting to the shovel in there. Is there, because it's burned up, there's more dirt there.
Well, they use a trencher.
I used a trench.
Yeah, so they use a trencher, remove that, and then they put the soil in and then plants.
Were you here after or during Irma? or not?
I just moved there.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was clear this morning that
Brown and
reached out to Morgan Stanley.
the roots were like this because they couldn't get it down into the ground. And the original mainscape, I think it was, had stuck them in, didn't bother putting dirt underneath. So you could.
It's amazing things have lasted as long as they've lasted.
Yes, yeah, I was surprised they lived that long.
So what, now we were gone for a couple weeks in August, but I understand that with some of those palms that were transplanted or repurposed, that several of them fell.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were 4 of them that fell on the beach in particular. They're planted in the sand.
Mhm.
And what happened is they used just a 2x4. And so they came back in and they used, I think it's 4x4s, brace them until probably any problem.
Yeah, the wood bust.
We had some wind here
Yeah.
a few weeks ago.
It's funny, it was 2 of them came down one time, kind of right at the end of the tennis, well, here, right here, right in here, because this is where all the water runoff is.
Oh.
So
And then
literally,
the other ones are
the
down.
other ones are right here. Yeah, so these, they came back and put 4x4. These are good, that's no problem.
I just, I guess, are we still alive? But-
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big are the root balls on some of those?
Not very.
Yeah.
So I was surprised. I'm used to up north where they have a tree spade that comes in from all 4 sides and did this. Not down here. They have a single spade. Boom, go, boom, boom, and boom. And then literally they have a clamp, lift it up, and put it in. That's-
Hopefully they take the sack off before they put.
Yeah, didn't even
Palms
do-
grow Yeah. Well, depending on what time it is. Disperse through the state.
I know I tried to do some plantings around a few ponds in my yard. I mean, if you within 4 feet of the darn thing, I mean, it's just, that's all it is.
So tight.
All right.
All right, can we like get moving here?
But we need a phone.
Do you have,
And I'm gonna be.
Well, again, I'm leaving at 4, so we can use mine till 4, but.
do we have, do you have a large set of plans in front of you?
Yeah.
We do.
That's what we're all sharing.
Can I ask some questions about that from my little tiny things?
Yeah.
So by the bocce ball courts, where it goes into the pickleball court, are those stairs there?
Yes.
Okay. So those are planters by the stairs. So basically, Renee, when we had talked about the living wall and tossed around those ideas for soundproofing, if I'm reading this right, we don't really have something that's very soundproofing.
The Clusia hedge alongside the tennis courts.
But between bocce and pickleball in
No.
this area here, we really don't have anything soundproofing at this point.
That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to ask that. And then my other question was by the lap pool. I don't know if you can all see this. Where the lap pool goes into the, let's see, how can I show this? Where the lap pool goes, where the curved wall of the lap pool is, there's a cement wall now that's going to hide the pool equipment. Is that correct?
Correct.
I'm wondering, that looks like, is that a cement wall?
Yes.
I'm wondering if we would want, it's the tiny detail, but if we would want to make that a clipped corner or curved corner instead of a straight corner. Again, I don't know if that's important to all of you, but it gives us those curved lines that we had talked about and he's added for us. And
I know
then,
that, Kathy,
Mhm.
I know that space is a big issue in that corner for all the equipment we have to put in there. I think we're trying to maximize the space.
Okay. And then also there on the wellness center entrance, because it moved to the west. What is that big blank area that, is that the current huge utility pipe? Because it interrupts the landscape bed, so I'm wondering how that's gonna look.
Sorry, Kathy, 1 second. Hold that up again.
So by the wellness center entrance, what is, can I do this? What is this right here?
Yeah, that's the water and fire, domestic water and fire.
So right now it's enclosed, I think it's podocarpus around there. I can't envision from this what that's going to look like because the landscape bed is interrupted and then is it just gonna be another podocarpus hedge or?
Right now, I'd have to go back and see. I will tell you, Kathy, those utilities, it was tough for us to leave those there, but we're gonna have to do a heck of a job screening them.
That's what I was thinking, and it doesn't look like there's any planting around it, so or a cement wall. That's what I just wanted to clarify, because I've walked inside that space and it's, you know, I can see why it couldn't be moved.
I think it might be a to be determined. In other
Okay.
words, in particular, by leaving those there right in front of our building, we're able to save about a $222,000 move just for those two things.
I remember you said that, and I think we just have to work around it, but I'm not sure if this will be our final design there, because I just couldn't tell.
I think it's gonna be challenging, but it's something that we'll have to do, I think, once built.
Okay,
Here, I think it could probably come out here a little bit.
And then Scott, could you talk about, you had mentioned, we talked about maybe going with Gumbo Limbos and Shady Ladies, and you were talking about sidewalks and they get moldy, and somebody said the Shady Ladies drop things. I just had a question about that because I see he's put some Gumbo Limbos in with the live oaks, and the community complains about the live oaks. So I'm guessing there's been discussion about that.
Yeah, which ones are the Gumbo Limbos again?
The Gumbo Limbos are lining the driveway. There's one, well, I don't know if you can see my notes. Like the Gumbo Limbos across from a live oak. He alternated them on, after we gave him comments, he alternated them. But we'd also talked about Shady Ladies. I didn't know if that had come up with all of you again.
Kathy, what's the abbreviation for Gumbo Limbo?
Yes.
The
Yeah,
BS.
PS.
Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trees that line Kayak Drive between along all the parking.
Yeah, it looks like they alternate though, right?
Now they do.
Yeah, I
They
think
didn't used to. He changed that.
There's one here.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, they're alternating.
So I'll leave it up to the committee. I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. Do you want them all to match, or do you like the alternating? What's up?
I know Brian had said he likes Shady Ladies, and I was just concerned, like we talked before, that people in the community complain about live oaks. And Renee's done a lot of investigation and Allison on, you know, trees that are appropriate. So I know they've been vetted. I'm just saying that we've had feedback from the community about the live oaks, and I'm wondering what you tree experts think.
At the Shady Ladies, that was the one that drops debris, right?
Well, I don't know. Brian says they're really favorable, but then I thought that someone said they drop debris on sidewalks and we wouldn't want to have them.
But we're also talking about they're located right next to cars, so I don't know
Right.
if they drop, what they drop, how heavy it is that they drop. But if it's in a parking lot and they do drop, it may not be.
Yeah, it's an olive.
Yeah, but-
Well, we brought it up to Richard the last time and he left the live oaks in, so I figured maybe that meant the Shady Ladies wouldn't be good there. I don't know. Just asking a question on that.
Okay, I guess the best thing to do would be to do some more research on the tree to see if it drops, and if so, what
It says here, non-messy
Non-messy tree.
shady
Right,
ladies
that's,
are tiny, won't cause leaf litter, and fallen flowers will blow away in the breeze,
Okay.
for what it's worth.
Did you guys hear that or not?
those were all the questions I had.
Hey Kathy, did you hear what Fred had said?
Yes, and that's why I know Brian favored it. I know we brought it up to Richard and so that's why I'm confused.
I mean, they seem equally dirty in the spring when they're putting out pollen and so forth. You know, the oaks drop a lot of pollen and they have the acorns.
Yeah.
The Shady Ladies have a lot of pollen. So I guess they're kind of equal there, but year round, I just recommended them because I just thought they were a prettier tree overall compared to the oaks, but
They're a nicely shaped tree.
I agree.
I'm switching out.
And they look really nice in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And Betsy, didn't you say that you'd heard a lot of feedback from the community that they just really are unhappy with any live oaks?
Well, I think most people are unhappy with the oaks.
That's what I thought.
I mean, they're just, they tear up everything and.
Well, they're scraggly looking.
They do look bad.
Yeah, they look better in a different part of the state. But the Shady Ladies look beautiful here.
Where
Do
are
we want to
some,
recommend then we go with Shady Ladies?
west side, drive down there, there's a bunch of little houses, they're bright green. They're really pretty.
I would ask
full.
Hey Kathy,
Yes,
you want to create sort of the uniformity as you come down Kayak with all one tree, or are you looking to alternate?
well, when we had the workshop, we said we wanted the uniformity and we suggested Shady Ladies. But he came back with it we had also suggested Gumbo Limbos, but he came back with Richard came back with this alternate plan. So what does the group think?
We don't know if it's a code requirement, Kathy, to be able to plant all one tree, or if there has to be different.
Most communities these days are trying to get away from that as they're susceptible to different diseases and things like that.
That's a good point.
You don't want to lose them all at once.
And Gumbo Limbo is a gorgeous tree, but it does lose its leaves.
Oh, in the winter?
I believe so.
Oh, and most of our population here is.
In the winter. I believe so. Don't swear on it, but.
I mean, looking at the minimum height and spacing requirements that he has, they would both qualify as minimum 10-foot high trees, 10-foot high. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to them keeping them alternating and just substituting the live oaks for the Shady Ladies. That might be a different look.
And these trees all look good in the winter?
Yeah, they would be considered like an evergreen. I mean, they're not evergreens, but down here in 10B, they quickly replace their leaves, so they're not bare. I mean, we already have them in the neighborhood, so the Shady Ladies are scattered out throughout the neighborhood. The Gumbo Limbos, we don't, to my knowledge, I don't think we have any in our community, but they're very numerous around town.
Yeah, that they're all over the place, but do they lose their leaves, Brian? Are they deciduous?
I'd have to look and double check, but I think even some of that do that as far south as we are, that we're kind of in a different little world down here because of our climate, but I'd have to double check on it.
I had that question too, because they were recommended by, Herb recommended them, maybe Jeff,
Yeah,
but the
yeah,
forest
I thought-
researchers.
I thought the Gumbo Limbo would be a great choice.
And I think the Forestry Service said they have a minimal amount of drop. They lose few leaves and for a short period of time.
That's awesome. It's a gorgeous park, like red.
I had a quick question, because I'm gonna have to leave on the pool area. On the pool area, I know there's some palm trees there now, right by the pool,
Oh, right.
and then talking about put more planters right by, up
Those are
against the
there.
pool. Oh, they're there also?
Those are
Okay.
there.
Okay. I didn't see those.
Yeah, those are
Did a
there. They're
quick
just
run by.
replacing the plants.
Okay. So I was thinking if they're gonna do something and mulch them and all of that, that would be a nightmare.
And we were talking about the planters right abutting the pool to be stone rather than.
Oh, good, yeah, because you have lots of grandkids coming
And the stones are gonna get thrown in the pool.
They
too,
will.
but-
and I'm sure they have been,
Yeah, yeah, that's not okay, you know.
and lots of other things too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Renee, to answer your question, it says in Florida, they technically classify the Gumbo Limbo as the city.
Is it what?
It is a deciduous tree in Florida. The Gumbo Limbo, just to clarify that. So it is
But
green.
Allison, didn't the guy from Collier County, say that in our particular area, that they only lost their leaves for a really short time?
A short period of time. They tend to hold on to them during the winter. They are somewhat messy with dropping fruit, little, fruit in the spring there. But I think it's a good choice. I like it.
Can we just pose that question to Richard?
News is pretty far.
Yeah.
I don't, it's much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think for the, what he has to submit, it has.
The only. Okay, so, but dropping, what kind of fruit does
Are they
it drop?
berries or what are?
Yeah, we don't, want-
They're berries.
If they drop a lot of berries, you get
That stain.
a
you know,
problem.
Depends on what kind of berry. 'cause
And are we
some
talking
berries
about
are
dropping them on top of the
self-contained,
cars?
sometimes like that. Yeah.
It's where parking is, right?
Yeah, that's-
Oh, yeah. If they drop them on cars,
That wouldn't be so good.
stay in the cars.
It depends on what type, because like.
It
a berry-
says the fruits are edible, succulent red berries.
It sounds dangerous.
It's a nice.
the wildlife that probably would like them. But you're
Can we
right.
just ask Richard to tell our questions and he could help us decide?
Sure.
Who's gonna do that?
Well, you all are gonna write down the questions in bullet format, and then you're gonna get them to me in one email.
Okay. By tomorrow, right?
Sure.
I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have questions or design ideas?
Just two plants that are on the invasive species list that he put on there. That's on page 5 on the landscape betterment plan.
Right.
The Mexican petunias, is it possible to substitute those for something else like beach verbenias or something else of that nature? That was in that email that I sent, I think to you and Renee, Kathy.
That was
Invasive
really
species.
helpful. That was a really, and I noticed he did have some of them in the plan.
And also the fountain grass, the white fountain grass, they recommended substituting that with mully grass. Looks very similar, but it stays put.
And I think that comes in white and pink, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then under the palms, I mean, it's just a thought if, and it's probably going to be budget permitting, which will probably mean we can't do it, but doing some of the trees with multiple trunks, like some of the Alexander palms or the foxtail palms, or I know the date palm or the pygmy dates already come usually multi-stalked or multi-stem.
Usually those grow really fast. Maybe we could get smaller ones.
Oh, that's an idea.
By code, you probably have.
You have to get certain,
Oh,
there's certain height, like if
Boy,
you look
that's
here,
tough.
there's certain height requirements.
yeah.
10 feet tall and
Yeah,
a
10
4
feet
foot
of
spread.
wood, 10 feet of wood and 4 foot,
Oh, wow.
a lot of the palms.
So yes, we can get them.
Yeah.
Just what I'm.
We can ask him to suggest some, or Brian, do you, from your pictures, do you want to suggest some?
I mean, they can, it just depends on where we get them from. All of those trees can be planted and trained to have grown with multiple trunks. It's just, they're gonna be a lot more expensive because we have, based on these codes that he has in the height spread columns, we have minimum heights for clear wood and overall heights for a lot of these trees.
I think what we should probably do is stick to meeting code at the lowest cost, and we have not gotten anything estimated. And if it comes in
Okay.
way over, because now we're gonna have to start
Adjust.
trimming back to begin with, but if it comes in much under budget, then we can look to enhance when if we get estimates and they're under budget, we could say, well, you know what, maybe we want this instead. I mean, it's just.
We could have our list of things we'd like to substitute with ready.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
just be like a wish list kind of item.
Wish
Yeah.
list.
We're gonna bid these out to, can we ask them for recommendations if there are any trees that they recommend we stay away from, or ones that they might recommend swapping out?
Well, we wanted to keep them all giving us the same quote for the same plans, right?
So the answer is yes, but we'll do it a little bit differently. We're gonna bid out the co-compliant plan, we'll bid the enhanced plan. Once we award it to someone, we'll go to that person then and say, hey, by the way, you're now our contractor, what would you recommend?
Right,
as
are there any
far as-"
red herrings in here?
Correct.
Mhm.
We would pick with someone that we could move forward and partner with.
The first and most important thing is if we meet code and it comes with.
Code has
budget.
to come first.
Code and budget, yes,
Code, budget,
and
and
timing.
get the right vendor.
And then what is everybody's thoughts about we're using the existing fountain in the pool area and relocating that? And Richard has it kind of in between the wellness center and the existing lap pool on the side facing the parking lot. I
Up
was
against
just
that
thinking,
cement wall.
yeah, I just wasn't sure with it being that close to the sidewalk and parking lots if we'd really notice it or it would be appreciated there, or if it could be relocated to the east side of the fitness center next to, I believe that's a bike rack. Kind of where the sidewalk makes a an
Oh,
F-curve
yeah.
shape.
By that door to nowhere.
Yeah, kind of somewhere over there by that side entrance. That's in the middle of the building.
I'm assuming that door's just for
Another nice machine.
an access door to that equipment.
North of that door, so it'd be
Where the
there's
bed
a really
comes out.
large, there's a big bend sidewalk right there. And then there's you'd have to zoom in. I believe that's a bike rack. It's not labeled, but that's kind of what it looks like. Scott,
Yeah.
does that make more sense on the big plan?
Yeah,
Looks like bikes. That might be pretty in there.
no, that's not-
This is a fountain that came from the pool.
yeah, that's what, I didn't know.
It's reusing it.
Okay.
Just a thought. I mean, I don't know what the reasoning was where he put it there. Is it because of,
Hey, Brian, I don't know the reason, but could it be that just trying to soften that concrete wall that's 8 feet tall or 7 feet tall?
yeah, no, yeah, I'm just a thought. I just wasn't sure what his logic was behind it, but I mean, if everyone thinks it'll look good and serve a better purpose there, I mean, just a thought.
There'd be plumbing there too. Which reminds me, we have no plumbing in the breezeway. Remember, Susan, we kept trying to get plants to grow in pots there in the corner, but we don't have any way to water them.
Right.
I don't know if that breezeway's been discussed yet for plumbing. I forgot about that. But
That's interiors, once interiors gives us a plan there, they would have to.
if Richard has to do the lighting and electrical, I mean, the plumbing and lighting for tomorrow, is it important that that's decided on today?
You know what, Kathy, it's a great point because the interiors can like to put live plants in the breezeway
Mhm.
and spread out every couple months. It may be something that we have to hand water, which sucks, but
And that hasn't gone well
I
for
just don't know
5
how-
years, so.
so I don't know, and including, they're thinking about putting 2 large palms on either side of this entrance in big pots. So I don't know how I'll have to talk to the interiors committee about it.
Yeah, they should run.
I walked that with someone, maybe Chad,
Remember when we,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
and we said there wasn't any way to water the plants. And at the time, we couldn't bring plumbing from the inside, like if by where Billy Joe and Tina sit, you would need to bring water in there.
What
Yeah,
about
that's
light?
the water
Is there a
wall.
light source in there?
oh, it's not gonna be,
Yeah.
wasn't it originally, they were talking about
They
having
need
water
some
wall?
that grow in shade, timber shade.
Yeah.
But there are some, I'm sure, out there.
Oh, there's all, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. You go to a nursery and you look at all the stuff, they're gorgeous plants.
Where do you go buy the silk one?
But in the nurseries, they get filtered.
Some of them, they have the dark cloths over them, you know, and some of them, it's a more open weave, so.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm gonna have to skedaddle.
Well, thank you for
So-
joining us.
Thank you, Susan. It's nice to see you again.
Oh, you too. Glad to be here.
Give Chip my best.
Thank you. See you guys.
Ralph, any thoughts?
I'm just looking through, you mentioned something about power going through that breezeway area. I know that's been a real problem in the past. I don't know how they're setting that up. It's a little overwhelming.
Yeah, isn't it? Oh, and for everyone, Ralph has volunteered to do a PowerPoint, so we've sent him some of those pictures, but what I was referring to earlier is if you have any more ideas as we move through this, if we email him the pictures, he's going to put it together for us, so it's a little easier for us to talk about this with the people that aren't in town.
Yeah, just let me know what you want and if there's a specific order, and I can set them up as a flowed PowerPoint.
Thank you. I was glad to see, Renee, we talked about some different curves in that, and then we talked about plants. I was glad he added the lady palms, and the electric pink cordyline was pretty.
Good.
Hey, on page 4 of 6 on the betterment plan, when we're talking about where the breezeway goes out to the existing sidewalk that's outlined by those large date palms, there is a section of paver that stops in the planted area before continuing to the existing event line. What are everyone's thoughts about having that paver break through divide that planter and then go up to the event line as a means for people to get back onto the pavement, access, use the restroom or cut through or.
It does.
That's a great suggestion, Brian. We'll make that happen right away.
We'll make it happen today.
Oh, you guys are down there digging up plants?
No, it's already done.
It's already there.
Oh, all right, cool.
Cool.
I like it.
Is that a recent renovation?
No.
It's always been there.
Yeah.
Very good.
Wow, that was an easy one, Brian.
Keep them coming.
Yeah,
All right, let's
you
see
guys
what else
work
they can
so
find.
fast, it's hard to keep up with you.
That's it. That's all I've got. I mean, there's really, we talked about curvy sidewalks and stuff, but there's really not a lot of opportunity to do that with the way everything's laid out with the sports courts being rectangular and just not having a lot of room.
Speaking of curvy sidewalks the northeast corner of the wellness center, to the north of that curve, where we were just talking about the bike area. What is in that corner there between pickleball courts? Is it curves around? What are those, rocks or?
Yes, they're stones.
And do I understand right, for tomorrow, if we don't have a water source in this plan today, then after tomorrow, we don't have a chance to get some water features in. I'm just randomly saying, okay, that corner, if we wanted a water feature there, it'll be too late after tomorrow.
Generally speaking, yes, but sometimes we can work magic. Because these are permitted plans and you need plumbing included in permitted plans. However, as built, sometimes we can get some stuff in. Were you thinking about fountains?
I hadn't given a lot of thought to it. I didn't know, is that pavilion still there? The way it was on this drawing that came through, it looked like just pavers, but is there still is there a roof over that pavilion?
There is over a roof over the pavilion that's shaded dark. Guys, I have to take off. My apologies.
Are we gonna be here a lot?
I don't have anything else.
Maybe we're gonna wrap.
Okay, I think we're gonna, is this a wrap?
Renee, do you have anything else?
No, I'm pretty good. I like some of the changes that he made with the rounding based on your suggestion. To Scott's point, I think, generally speaking, we got the bones here, and there might be opportunities for tweaking later, possibly, but we'll have to just see.
Okay.
We good?
Kathy, you'll send over those notes?
I'll send those out to everybody here and make sure I didn't miss anything, and then you'll need them tomorrow, correct?
That'd be awesome.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Good.